Welcome everybody. Today is June 13th, 2021. And I'd like to welcome everybody to the TheGottCast. Now, whether you be an Arabian disc jockey, preparing to throw down some sick beats at tonight's desert rave, then I'll welcome you to my podcast. Perhaps though you're a water buffalo hunter in the middle of Africa on the trail of a herd of buffalo, and for some reason listening to a good quality podcast is how you like to unwind by the fire at night, then I welcome you to my podcast and good luck. So I am currently recording this in my apartment in Murray, and this is the last day that I'm gonna be here in this apartment, in this place I used to call home. And on the road, I had to redefine what home meant to me, and on the road, home was the campfire. It was where I went to relax every night and reflect on the day, And since I've been back to Kentucky, I've kind of had to redefine that because I wasn't, staying by a campfire every night. I've been hanging out with people every night, just about, friends and family. What I've come to realize is that home, at least to me, is when I'm in good company, when I'm with friends and family. And since we're all one people, and we're all one race, that's the human race, then we should all be a big old happy family, right? So the way I look at it is as long as I'm with good company and someone out there that I meet randomly or whoever, I'm home, because people are what make life good, really. Because I've thought about this on the road and everything. I've climbed a mountain with a jug of water and a hunting knife, but I realized that I would trade that story for one with my friends any day of the week. I'd really have hung out with my friends and family and stuff, because that's what makes good stories and memories, the shared ones. But speaking about of good company and good friends, I'd like to introduce y'all to my good friend Caleb. He's an awesome guitar player, singer, songwriter, and just a cool dude, really. He's very spiritual and very intelligent. So without further ado, here's today's interview with my buddy Caleb. With Caleb, guitar picker, spiritual guru, I guess. Enthusiast. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure, man. So tell me a little bit about yourself, man. How'd you grow up? Was spirituality always like a big part of your life?
Church. So I grew up in church. So I was Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, revivals twice a year. I mean, we memorized the books of the Bible, and when I was a kid, and you got the stars, and I knew all of them in order. You know what I'm saying? I was an overachiever always and stuff like that, and that was my childhood, man. We were kind of I wouldn't say we were poor. I didn't know we was poor, but looking back, we were probably pretty poor. Just kind of worked, went to church, and until I was 18, that's pretty well what I did, was just work and go to church.
I can relate to that. Yeah, it's especially around here, that's the kind of culture I guess we kind of live in Western Kentucky, especially.
Especially back then. Like I was born in '81, so like it was like church and stuff was in its biggest probably moment right around then, I feel like.
I got you. So I know we've talked before about like energy and like a meditation and whatnot. So what age or what was the catalyst really that kind of like sparked your, I guess, interest in that kind of spirituality?
So I don't like. You hear the word the year 2012, thrown around a lot. A lot of people had their spiritual awakening in 2012. I didn't know what a spiritual awakening was, but I remember it was New Year's Eve, and me and my sister had talked, and I didn't hate my job, but I was just really unsatisfied. I wanted to play music full time, and I wasn't playing music because I thought that my job was the reason why. And she was talking to me, and I just quit my job. Just walked in one morning. I was like, I'll give you 2 weeks, and I'm done. And that was the beginning of like my meditation, because I found some like recordings. Edgar Casey, I don't know if you know who that is. He was called the Sleeping Prophet. He had a meditation called Access Your Akashic Records. Okay. Which, with the Akashic Records, that's the book of life in the Bible. Right. It's everything that's ever happened or ever gonna happen. It's everything in existence that God already knows, put down in a book. And so I started like, I quit drinking at this time too, because I drank quite a bit when I was younger, and I found pot, and so pot and meditation, and like it just expanded my mind. I started thinking about things, and just really, I didn't know what meditation was, but I was doing it for like 5 hours a day. And it seems stupid because I was off for like probably 3 months of work. I didn't work for like 3 months. Wow. And then all my money was gone, and like bills were getting in trouble, so I had to get another job and stuff like that. But I would sit outside for like 6-8 hours sometimes and just cross-legged. I get sunburnt. I'd be out there so long. And just like these places in my mind that I would find tunnels in my mind, and just like, just focus on the tunnel. I could go down the tunnel and go down these rabbit holes. And when I first started, it was all so new, so everything was exciting, and it was like a movie behind my head. Wow. That I had never really experienced before.
That's really interesting. So I guess explain to me how you meditate, because I know there's all kinds of different ways. People talk about what the best way is and whatnot, but what works for you?
So trial and error was what I did, because I didn't have anybody teaching me. I didn't have YouTube back then, because I didn't have smartphones really. I didn't have a smartphone back then. I lived in the country, so I didn't really have internet. So what I did was I just sat down and tried to control my thoughts. Okay, I did that for probably 6 years until I realized that you can't control your thoughts. And once I realized that I couldn't control my thoughts, I started settling in. And then I found an app called Waking Up. And it's a meditation app. And it's a guided meditation. And he would tell you, just observe. Be the observer. Because everything's going to happen. You can't stop experiences from coming in. You can't stop feelings. You can't even really stop how you feel in the moment. Right? Yeah. Sure. Somebody says something, before you even know it, you're already mad.
Yeah, subconsciously.
But it's how fast can you go from mad to realizing that that's just doesn't have to be like that.
It doesn't have to be, right?
Doesn't have to be. And so that's when I got the most out of it, when I realized that it's not about making my thoughts not be there. It's about being okay, really, with whatever. So some days I am super quiet and I hear the bugs crawling on the floor. And it's like I lose my body. I'm just in this space where it's just my mind and the consciousness, like they say. Right. And then some days I think about how pissed off I am about something my wife did. And the meditation is completely, quote unquote, wasted, because the whole time I didn't get anything that I think out of it. But then 2 or 3 days later, I think about something that happened in meditation, and I work through it. So I mean, I just feel like sitting down for meditation is always good, but sometimes you can kind of guide your mind. And for me, it was just being okay with whatever happened in meditation.
Right. I think meditation too is a very helpful tool, I guess, to deal with your problems or like your emotions. And really, I use it as a tool all the time when it's like working even, or just like I'll be driving down the road, a car pulls out in front of me. I can notice myself like getting angry, but I just notice that and I let it be, because what good is it going to do for you to get worked up and mad, because they're already pulled out in front of you. Yeah. They're already in front of you. So why get mad about that?
Well, and something else. You've been that person to somebody else before.
You're exactly right. You don't know what's going through their head right in that moment. Maybe they didn't see you, Right. So there's all kinds of.
I ran a stop sign the other day just because I wasn't paying attention and didn't notice it, and somebody was sitting there, and they were nice. They didn't cuss me. They were just like looking at me like, "Yeah, you just ran a stop sign, buddy." And I was like, "I'm sorry,"
Right. Yeah.
it happens to everybody.
Right.
You know, so just being conscious of if it's you this time, it's somebody else the next time. It may be you again, you know, before long. You want somebody to have compassion on you in those moments, you know. And
right.
I feel like that's something meditation teaches, is compassion, you know, for yourself and kind of for others sometimes, you know.
So we've been talking about like the road and meditation. So I'm interested in hearing your Sedona story. I think the viewers would get a kick out of that. But I also had, I guess, a similar experience out west. So if you don't mind, I guess, recollecting me on your story from Sedona.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So I got married in July, and for our honeymoon, we decided to go to Sedona. We're me and my wife. We both are spiritual-minded people. We love everything kind of to do with the new type of spirituality, you know. So we've heard Sedona was an awesome place. We got an Airbnb and went out there, and luckily, our Airbnb host was in the New Age community herself, and so she was cool with meditation. Every morning we kind of meditated together. A couple mornings we meditated together. Most times me and my wife by ourselves in our room. But she has a prayer circle that she goes to on Thursdays. And so she invited us to this prayer circle. And we're like, oh, yeah, awesome. And so I think it was the next morning maybe I meditated. And when I was in meditation, so if you've never meditated and you're watching this, so basically I'm going to talk about my imagination. I see things, I think things happen, but it's basically, it feels like my imagination. I call it like a thought feeling. I don't really see it, but I feel like I can see it.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. So I'm sitting in meditation, and I feel like I'm inside of a room. And I look around the walls, and I can feel like bricks, and I see the mortar. And so I start running my finger on the mortar joint, and a key pops out. So I have this key in my hand, and now I'm looking for a door because I can feel like I'm kind of trapped in here, like it's somewhere that maybe it's a cage, maybe I built it myself, maybe I don't really know what it is, but I can feel evil on the outside. I feel darkness around me. And so I take the key and I open a lock that I found, and as soon as I open the lock, I feel a weight of just like negativity. I don't even know how to explain it. It just felt like somebody was just pissing all over me. I mean, just like, it was just horrible things, you know. And then I just realized that, hey, I'm not really here. And immediately I was in a different place, the same place, but a different place. And I realized that it was just a construct in my mind that I had kind of created. And so then I could see outside of the box, and I could see that I had built a big maze all the way around it, where nobody could really get to me, and I was protecting myself is what I felt like. I didn't want anybody else to get anywhere close to the inner part of me, and so I was protecting that in such a way that nobody could find me. I had multiple layers that are identical, so I could just go to different ones if somebody did get close to me. And then all of a sudden, the door opens up from the outside, and it's like a bright white light, and a hand reaches in and grabs my hand and pulls me out, and it just feels like a hug. You know what I mean? It was just like, I could tell it was good. There was nothing bad along with that, and that was the end of it. That was the end of the kind of the vision and meditation, and I kept on meditating another 5 or 6 minutes or so, and other things happened, but I don't remember, you know. So this is maybe like Tuesday, we're gonna say. So Thursday we're going to the prayer circle, and we show up, and everybody's probably 70 or 80 years old. They're all just really, really super nice. You can tell the energy in the house is like love everywhere, you know. And there's a chair in the middle, and they explain that we're going to sit in the chair. There's crystals underneath it, and they're all a certain frequency. They picked them specifically for this somehow. The frequency of the crystals are perfect for whatever they're doing. And so the person sits in the chair, and everybody else puts a hand on them, and they meditate for 3 minutes during this song. And then when you get done, people kind of tell you what they saw. Let me get a drink real quick.
Go ahead.
So first is the woman directly across from me. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people ahead of me. And the first lady goes, and it's a really different kind of meditation, because it's super quiet right off the bat, which never happened to me. It usually takes me like 5 or 10, 15 minutes to get to a good quiet spot, and it was just like instantaneous this time.
Wow.
And it was like there was like a blank screen in my head, and pictures would kind of come by. Like, I don't see things. I'm not psychic. I don't see visions. I have a hard time even like imagining things in my meditation, but I can get a pretty good lock on some of that stuff. But this stuff was super vivid. It felt kind of strange, but so we get done and they're like, okay, well, I saw you as this magnificent whale just going through the, just these and I was just like, I saw a fish. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or I saw water.
Right.
It wasn't like the exact thing, but it was pretty close
something
to
close to it.
Something really close to it, yeah. And so and everybody goes around and tells what they see. And so, like I said, I just kind of was like, well, that was kind of crazy. I kind of saw the same things that they were kind of seeing, The second person goes, same thing. So I'm kind of having visions of what everybody else is having visions about. So it gets time for me to go. So I sit in the chair. I've been meditating since 2012, and it's 2020. So I'm 8 years in on meditating. I'm usually daily. I sometimes go a week or so without it, but I meditate pretty regular. So I sit down, and it was like, I'm gonna be the best meditator ever, and I'm just gonna kill this prayer circle, because I'm competitive about everything. And so I sit down, and it's like I'm just nervous. I can't. My eyes are just fluttering like crazy. They won't stay still, and I can't even hardly close them. And like I'm just trying really hard, and a voice just goes, just calm down, just calm down. And so I was like, all right. So I was just like, I'm not even gonna try to. I'm just gonna breathe. So I was just focusing on my breathing. And here directly, my eyes kind of stopped fluttering. I kind of, just the breath kind of calmed me down, And I saw a light over here in the corner. It kind of was like, oh, hey, Jesus, because I grew up in church, so like Jesus is a common name for me. So it's like I see a light in the sky, kind of a white-headed guy, and I was like, oh, that's Jesus up there, whatever. So my 3 minutes is up, and the first lady looks at me and she goes, "Whew, wow, that was pretty intense." And I was like, "Yeah, right, yeah, And so she was like, "Why don't you go ahead and tell me how you're feeling?" And I started thinking about it. I just kind of, like, a tear ran down my both eyes, and I was just like, I don't know. I've never felt more love in my entire life. Like, it was undescribable what it felt like in that exact moment, to know that everybody there was just like showering love on, and like really doing it like in the psychic kind of way, because they know how to do stuff like that, Right. And I couldn't even really say anything, but like just thank you for this experience. I'm not even sure what this experience is, but like I just want to say thank you just right off the bat. I had a lot of gratitude for being there, And so she's like, all right, so she's like, you're a pretty powerful guy, and she's like, I saw you in your meditation, and you were grabbing, you like you were Superman, like you had your cape on or whatever. And she said, I saw you just like pulling your chest open to expose your heart chakra. And I started crying. Wow. And I was just like, because, okay, I do weird shit in my meditation sometimes. Okay, like I imagine that I can fix all the world's problems by just spreading my love. That sounds weird, but it's meditation. Nobody knows about it. I'm just like, I don't tell anybody. I mean, I'm telling everybody now, but
good-hearted at least,
But before then, it was just like, it was something that I did because I was like, I don't know what happens psychically. I don't know what consciousness is, but if I can help just by like imagining I can help, I can do that. Yeah, I'm meditating anyway. Let's just go ahead and give it a shot. Yeah. So I would just like get in meditation, and I would breathe, and I would kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. I try to store my energy up and like kind of tense my body, and all of a sudden just like, and just like try to explode. And like I picture the green, because the green is your heart chakra color. And imagine the green just going everywhere. And then I look at her, and she's just like, she saw me doing that. And I'm just like, what? Like, how does that even happen, So that was mind blowing. Then the next lady, she was the lady that I was staying with, and she was really, really nice. I don't remember what she said, but it was just some really nice things about my aura and my personality. The third guy who went was a man. His name was James, and he was a meditation teacher for a college there in Sedona. And he started telling me that he built a rainbow bridge between my heart and his. And he walked over, and what he specializes in is repairing chakras. I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know,
Uh-huh.
So he says he goes over in, he's walking up and down my chakras. He's like, all your chakras are open. And I don't know if you know this or not, but he says above the crown chakra is a whole other set of chakras.
Interesting.
That some people already have the lower ones active. I do not. But some people are already playing around with their upper, I guess, the next level of human evolution. They're like, because every floor is just a ceiling. Every ceiling is just a floor of the next level. Because if it goes on in infinity, you're always going to be floor, learning, ceiling, then right back on the floor to an learning process.
Right.
So he's telling me all this stuff, and he's like, so your upper chakras are there. They're just not active yet, but that's no problem. He's like, all your other ones are good. And he said, so I need to tell you something. He's like, I saw you, and I could sense an extreme like negativity. And so I went to find you, and when I found you, there was a black box that you had created. And you were inside the black box, and I opened the door, and I reached my hand, and I grabbed you out. And dude, I just started crying.
Right. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I was just like, how did you know?
Right.
This was 2 days before when I had the meditation, and then 2 days later,
Right. Yeah. He was the person.
He was the dude.
Yeah. Who brought you out of that dark maze. Yeah.
That is crazy. Like that's
wild.
That's
man.
wild.
Yeah. It's absolutely wild.
And I don't have a good explanation for how it happened. I mean, it's not a lucky guess. Like 2 for 2. Like, and I went out for pizza afterwards with both of them. We got a vegan, vegetarian pizza or whatever from the local place in Sedona. But I went out and talked to him, and just normal, cool, just cool. Loving people. You know what I mean? And it was like, but they have some kind of connection that like normal people just don't have.
Right.
And they were able to tap into that. That was cool.
Yeah, I think tapping into it, it's definitely like a learning process, and it takes a long time to do that. And what a lot of people don't get, they hold crystals, or they try to meditate for the first time or whatever, and they don't feel anything, or they don't, nothing happens. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you have to practice it or whatever. You have to do a little bit of the hard work, the heavy lifting at the beginning, especially. Because the more tuned in you get with it, and the more tapped in you are, these amazing things will start happening around you, around the people in your life, And I think Taylor Thompson, our friend, maybe I'll have him on the show here soon. But we were in Florida, I think. It was February 1st. February 1st is when we first left out. Mm-hmm. And we were camped out in Savannah in Florida. And we were talking about meditating and stuff, and like we were way out there. Yeah. And there's these coyotes that started howling and everything, and he was telling me that he imagines like running with these coyotes and stuff, but also he was telling me when he meditates how he sends people like good vibes and like energy and love is by like he imagined himself like ripping open his heart and like shooting like a beam of light out of it into like other people, and. So he didn't say what color that beam was or nothing like that. And I tried it that night. I just imagined myself, meditating, while I was meditating, opening up my heart and then just spreading, just shooting like a beam of like a light, of like love, just pureness to everybody that I knew. And for some reason I imagined that color or that beam of light to be green. And like I had no idea of the colors of the chakras or nothing like that. And I'm still, pretty unaware of some of that stuff, but yeah, it was just kind of a cool connection. But whenever I was in Sedona, though, I went to the Buddhist stupa there and just to check it out. I thought it was pretty cool. I wanted to see what it was about. So I get there and everything, and I've never been to a Buddhist stupa before, like any other temple or church besides like Baptist, Southern Baptist, right, and like you know what I mean. But it was an interesting. I guess, experience for me, because I got there and I felt like peaceful, at peace with everything. And it was just, I don't know, it's like this aura or like a wall or something of just like peaceful energy around that thing. And just good intentions and stuff all the way around when I was there. And I remember meditating out there too. Just everything was just heightened,
Absolutely.
And And I don't know if you saw it too, but I walked around kind of like in the back of the stupa back there, and they had this medicine wheel, like this Native American medicine wheel. Yeah. And I started walking it, and it was in the hot sun, in the middle of the day in Sedona, and it was just, man, like I just started having these epiphanies and stuff, and then I was like, life is good, and then I just spent 30 minutes to an hour just meditating in the sun out there, and it's beautiful, man.
I told my wife, I was like, I felt like 15% better just being in Sedona. Like, like the worries and weights that I have in Kentucky, they were like 15%, and it wasn't because I was on vacation, because I've been on vacation to Gulf Shores, I've been on vacations, and it was like different. Like you just felt like a little bit happier, a little bit better. You just wanted to joke around a little more. The energy out there was just in like a few places was just crazy good.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That whole town, man. That even some of like the farther out rural regions around it, where I was camping and stuff. I went to a shaman's cave, Robert's Roost out there, and even that place was just like, you could tell that ancient like rituals or like spiritual practices were happening in that cave.
Yeah.
And you just feel the energy. Yeah. And that whole town's got that.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And all the people there, they're super cool. They're all tapped in more so than usual.
Tapped in like nobody, like no other.
Yeah, like no other, And yeah, it's just, that town's beautiful, man. And I'm gonna go back for sure.
We want to go back too, for sure. We met a guy named, I think his name was Richard out there. He was I don't remember which vortex it was, but it was one of the vortexes. Kind of, I don't know if you went to it, but there was kind of a resort kind of right next to the vortex of this one, and it was like a big tall rock, and on top of this rock, this dude was playing the flute.
Oh, okay.
And, we were walking, we heard him from a ways away, and this dude, I'm talking like he was probably from 200 yards up, because like them mountains, and not really mountains, but the rocks, they get kind of tall. This was just like a skinny one, and it went up. And we saw him way up there, like he was like, an inch tall or whatever. He saw us and waved, "Hey, guys." And I waved, we were walking, "Hey, how you doing, buddy?" Yeah. We were trying to get to him. We got lost. Took us a while to get there. And he was already coming down the mountain whenever we met him.
Gotcha.
And, of course, everybody's going up and going down. There's people walking everywhere. And he picks us, me and my wife. And so my wife she likes to find heart-shaped rocks. So my sister does that too, and I kind of got my wife into it. And so if you look for things, like if you look for specific things, you can find them everywhere.
Right.
So like heart-shaped rocks is a cool thing. So we're coming up the mountain, and he's coming down, and he stops us. He's like, "How are y'all doing today?" And he's just telling us his story, and he's like, "I've been here 20-something years, and I come here 3 times a day sometimes. I come here every single day. Most of the time twice, sometimes 3 times a day to play for people." He's like, "I just want to show my love." And he said love, and he said, "I want to love everybody." And he was so open with his love. Not like in a creepy way, but like you could tell he was very, very eccentric, but he was genuine.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And he gave me and her both a perfect heart-shaped rock.
Wow. Wow.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's super cool, man. I guess that's what I was saying, man. The more you tap into that stuff, stuff just keeps coming. It's almost like manifesting it. To a certain
setting an
extent.
intention, and that's what manifestation is. It's just it's setting an intention and believing that it can happen. Holding the belief long enough that you see it. That's all. That's all a manifestation is.
Right now, whether you believe in this or not, you can even say that even believing in that this thing is going to manifest. It's already doing mental work in your head.
Yeah.
To where you're going to go that extra mile to get what you want.
Absolutely.
You're going to.
I always tell people. Yeah, I always tell people if you don't believe you can have something, you're not going to be looking for it.
Right.
So luck is when preparation meets opportunity. There's no such thing as luck. People who practice and are prepared put themselves in positions to where the things that they want to happen are going to happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? They set an intention. They follow it through till they believe it can happen. They start putting themselves out there enough until the manifestation, fake it till you make it. And it's just, it's intention and just perseverance basically until it happens.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I believe anybody out there can do whatever they set their mind to, for sure.
Yeah.
Each and every one of y'all out there, you can do whatever you set your mind to.
Absolutely.
I climbed a mountain out there on my trip with a hunting knife and a jug of water, man.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if I was making it back.
Yeah.
But I wanted
to
there's
climb
no
ropes out there.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, they don't care if you die.
Yeah.
They don't care
No
at
trails,
all.
no service.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Yeah, the signs, they spin around in circles. It's like, woo, which way are we going? I don't know. Devil's elbow or angel's path. I don't know. Yes. But yeah, I was surprised. We went to the airport Mesa.
Okay, yeah.
And it's like a 300-foot drop off the back of it. And I was just like, of course, I got some pictures of me like in full lotus position in meditation pose. I got some pictures of me for some promos that I was doing and had my wife take them. But I was literally probably 5 foot from the edge. And the next thing you could see was like a mile that way. And it's just like the backdrop of a rock. But literally, 5 foot behind me was a 300-foot drop.
Wow.
No ropes, no chains, no caution, nobody watching, nobody caring. It's like, if you die, it's your fault,
But dude, like I find that feeling the greatest feeling in the world to me, because it's like it's ultimate freedom to know that your whole life that you have right now is in your hands.
That's it.
Nobody else's. There's no cell phones. There's nobody else around. If you fall, you're dead. Like, dude, that feeling, at least to me, is it just feels alive. It's a natural high, man. It's there's nothing else like it. Did
you go to the airport Mesa?
I did. Yeah.
Did you walk around the trail? The trail?
Yeah, I did the trail.
Dude, that was scary, wasn't it?
Dude, yeah. A couple parts,
When you meet people and you gotta like get off and let them go by,
right,
and you're like the rocks slide, and it's like they just keep sliding,
Right. Yeah. Yeah, no, I loved that trail. I loved all the trails in Sedona, really. I did Bell Rock. That was my favorite, I think. Yeah. I loved climbing stuff, but I never made it over to Cathedral. I was in that park that day, but my car decided to... rest in peace to my car.
Well, here's what I think about things like that. Everything happens for a reason.
Oh, dude, no doubt, man, because... So I scraped my transmission seal pan on a rock going out of a campsite in the BLM land.
How random was that?
Exactly. How random, right? And I went all the way down to Red Rock Crossing, not knowing I did it. I heard a bump or something, but I didn't think it messed anything up. I thought it was just my suspension. But anyway, so I drove all the way down to Red Rock Crossing. I was at this park, and so I noticed transmission's leaking. Okay, well, I guess I need to call a tow truck, or else I'm gonna tear the transmission up, getting it back up to town or whatever. So I was called a tow truck or whatever, but I was hanging out with this park ranger, and she's like, I think she's an elderly woman, I guess I'll just say. I don't know her exact age, and I think that would be bad to say. Yeah. But anyway, she was super cool, super nice, and I learned a lot from her, and then she kind of like told me about some parks in the area or whatever, and just about hiking and everything. But anyway, it's all about making that connection. But where I'm going with this is, I got towed to Flagstaff, which was the only transmission shop around at the time that could work on my car. So I went up there, and I ended up talking to this again older man who owned this company. Anyway, and I was like, we got talking and everything, and I was like, yeah, you like it in Flagstaff? He's like, no, he's like, it's too cold, man. It's up in the mountains and stuff, and it's snowing. He's like, it's too cold up here. He's like, I want some warmer climates and stuff. And I was like, well, man, why don't you move? And he's like, oh, well, I got this shop here. And I was like, well, man, we're not promised tomorrow. And I was like, why don't you take some time off, man? Take it easy, Just enjoy life for a little while, Life's not about working all the time,
That's right.
Yeah, because and I was talking to him about this, and he's like, I think you're right. And I think he decided to retire, I'm pretty sure. So
that's awesome, dude.
Yeah. Am I okay with my car, my transmission messing up for that man to have some more happiness in his life, or something to for me or anything to be a catalyst, for him to be, I guess, happier? I'm totally cool with that. I'd give $1,000 just to see somebody happy for, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like genuinely happy and living their dream and being themselves. Like,
this kind of wraps back to meditation, but so this is something I learned in meditation is that you have to be okay with whatever comes. So, the Bible talks about free will. That's a big argument. Do we have free will? Do we not have free will? Me personally, I'm kind of leaning towards things are just going to happen to you, and you're kind of on a path. The free will that we have is the free will to choose how to react to those situations. You could have gotten bitter, and you could have gotten angry, and you could have said something to that man that made him go the opposite way. Buckle down in his work. I got all kinds of work. I'll just stay. And he could be, and it could have been a catalyst for somebody else not changing their life, or, you could be like, what? Just one more path in my life, one more story at 5 years from now, I'm going to be able to tell somebody, and it's going to be funny looking back, because now I have all the perspective of 5 years of what that one thing, the momentum of that one moment is going to ripple through your entire life.
Exactly.
just the way you reacted to the situation.
Exactly. You know, and again, it takes like 5 seconds to literally tell somebody, hey, I like your shoes or whatever.
That's
or,
right.
Nice shirt, man.
Yeah.
Or hey, you know, you're doing a good job, whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
Right? Or I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Or I love you.
Yeah.
You know, like, and you can think about that. That person could have nobody else in their life telling them those things.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and then you, a random stranger,
Yep.
you know, or whoever.
Oh, yeah.
And you show them unconditional love, you know,
Yeah.
and joy and compassion for them.
That's right.
Then, you know, it has the effect, you know, the butterfly effect. It has the effect to just grow exponentially into something that's just greater than all of us put together. You know what I mean?
You know, me and my wife talk about this all the time. Like, I need to be your cheerleader, and you need to be my cheerleader. Just in the fact of, not that I'm always like rooting you on, like you should do anything, but if you have an idea and you come to me with that, why shouldn't I be supportive?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
exactly.
Why should I give you even if I don't think that it's going to be successful, why should I rob you of that opportunity of going ahead and taking that thought pattern further than you've ever taken it before, maybe even trying something you never tried before.
Right.
So like, she'll tell me something, I'm like, that's an awesome idea. Or my nephew, he'll call me all the time and be like, I got this idea for something. I'm like, that's all. Heck yeah, man. You should definitely do that. I think that's an awesome, you know, because what if that one piece of encouragement is all that they need to make the step that changes their life?
You're exactly right.
You know,
I think it's I think that's beautiful too. I think the more and in order to do this too, you got to have some self-love for yourself, you know, and you got to have some compassion for yourself because
and some forgiveness for yourself because you weren't always this person.
No, you weren't always this person.
And you feel like a fake when you're trying to, you know, show somebody unconditional love, knowing that, you know, I used to be an alcoholic and a drug addict, and it's like, you know, for me to try to be a spiritual person now and give somebody unconditional love, I have to really come to the grips of that. I used to be not a very nice person.
Right.
You know.
And I find too, loving others helps you love yourself even more.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So you learn a lot more about yourself as well. So.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I would also want to ask you about your career as a musician too, and how I guess your spiritual path aligns with your career as a musician, because I think I love music because I think it takes truly to live in the moment in order to get some of these notes exactly where they should be. You know, to make a piece like really great, especially some of the lyrics.
Yeah.
But you know, how's that affected you, your music career?
Oh, tremendously in the past few years. So the more spiritual I've gotten, the more I realize, like, you know, they call it the muse, the inspiration, whatever. It's about getting out of the way and letting something cool happen. You know, so I have a lot of really cool people around me right now that are talented. You know, and if I have an ego going into a room thinking that my idea is going to be the awesome idea because I've got an album, I've got hundreds of songs, I've got people that tell me all the time this song changed my life. You know, it's like that can become really egotistical when you go out into a room and be like, I'm writing this song. But I didn't write any of the songs that I've written. You know, I made myself available, you know, and had the belief in myself. So that's how spirituality has changed my music. That's on a really esoteric level. On the day-to-day level, I just feel more positive about myself lately. You know, in my music career, especially, you know, later on in life. Now, early on in music, it was not, I was very self-critical. But just like with my spiritual journey, as I've progressed spiritually, I think that I've gotten better musically. You know, of course, I've gotten older and more mature too. You know, that's part of it too. It's the whole package. But yeah.
I think a lot of it's like confidence too. I guess in anything really.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, fake it till you make it again. I talk about this all the time. People, you know, I do podcasts. You know, it's like, and I got up this morning and my back hurt because I worked all day yesterday. Do you know what I mean? I'm not a rock star. I do this. I want to be a rock star full time. I mean, I play music probably 5 hours a day. I'll practice 2 or 3 times a day for an hour. You know, I have rehearsals twice a week. You know, I'm fixing to go in the studio and record another album. I've got one album now, it's out. I've got like over 13,000 spins on Spotify and Apple Music and stuff. And it's like, I'm just faking it most of the time. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I go do a show and I'm like, I gotta pep myself up that morning going, you know what? You can do this. Yeah. You can do this. You know, it's, you're becoming the person you want to be. So just keep faking it and keep doing it. One day you're going to wake up and it's going to be, wow, this is just who I am.
Right.
You know,
it's unbelievable. You know, I think it's positive affirmation too.
Yeah.
You know, telling yourself that you're good and you're worthy and that you got this shit, right?
Yeah. But how hard is that to do?
Oh, it's real hard, right?
Yeah. I mean, it takes, and that's where I go back to meditation again. You know, if anybody comes with any kind of problem, my first response is meditate. Do you meditate? Because it helps everything.
Right, it does.
And everything can go back to, in my opinion, it can if you're on a path to better yourself in any way, you know, it doesn't have to be music, doesn't have to be anything. If you're on a path to better yourself, just sit down and reflect a little bit, and you're going to get better.
Oh, for sure.
You know?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
You know, you're definitely going to get better. And two, just, see how far you've come, right? Because every now and then, like, you work, some people get caught up in working all the time.
Yeah.
Constantly
Yeah.
working. And then they don't remember where they came from.
The little victories.
Yeah, it's the little victories, right? Because then, you wake up one day and you got a house and like a family or whatever, where you once were, driving around in a rust bucket or whatever, working at McDonald's or something.
Yeah.
And then now you get, which I know that's like, I guess society's way of looking at success, right?
Yeah, right.
Which is not necessarily true. And I think it's even harder to be more positive and compassionate towards yourself if you're going against the grain, if you're going against those societal pressures, and what's expected of you, right? Because you're expected to conform and just tap into consumerism, just keep buying your next thing.
Keep buy. Oh,
buy,
I can go on for days about that,
Yeah, exactly.
But
materialistic. But yeah, I think I'd encourage everybody to just look outside of yourself, look outside of material things, and believe in yourself, because you can make dreams happen. And,
well, I think that's what last year showed a lot of people. I got a business license last year, and I'm doing music more this year, and I'm starting my own electrical business. And I don't know this for a fact, but I've heard a lot of people with the stimulus money invested in it themselves.
Right.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I hope unemployment is I hope people can't find workers in like fast food, because all them people started businesses for themselves.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? That's what I hope.
That's the reason. Yeah, for sure.
So people talk about, and it's all fast food worker shortages that I've seen around. Of course, around Mayfield, that's what I'm talking about. Right. Every restaurant has a sign for wanting employees, and it's like people realize that they're worth more than that.
Exactly.
And I'm so happy for that. I mean,
oh yeah, I am too.
I don't eat fast food anyway, so it doesn't that whole market doesn't bother me a whole lot. If they're struggling, I hate it for the people who are working in it, because it sucks to be the one person who's still there working when nobody else wants to. But the people who woke up to the fact that they're worth more than something to be treated like that, you know, that's awesome. So
yeah, and working for somebody else too, it's completely different than working for yourself.
Oh yeah,
because you're more motivated if you're working for yourself. Yeah. You don't have outside influences as much. You're not dreading getting up and going to work every day.
Well, and hopefully, if you're working for yourself, you pick something you enjoy doing a little bit. A lot of people get a job because they can get a job. Like, I'm going to apply at these 5 places because they're hiring, not because I like what these 5 places do, or even I may not even stand for what these 5 places stand for. And that's where you get even worse, is that you may do a job that contradicts with your spiritual or just your ideologies in general.
Right.
Yeah. So,
and like, how much is that worth to somebody?
Exactly.
To me, not much.
To me, not much either.
I ain't working for. Yeah. Especially. Yeah.
Especially when there's nobody out there that's stopping your dreams from coming true.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. There's nobody.
There's not a 180 of you out there that's trying to do bad things and make sure that you don't ever make it. It's just the fact that people don't put themselves out there.
Right.
And so when somebody puts themselves out there, like, a lot of times they succeed. Eventually, you might fail a couple of times at some small things, but I mean, most of the time it's a steady progression upward.
Right. I think, too, whenever you're on that path for yourself and stuff, and people see you loving yourself and being happy, then generally they might give you a helping hand, or they, they're
you add people to your team.
Yeah, exactly.
And the kind of people you want on your team.
Right.
That's the cool thing about it. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, so your music. I just wanted you to quickly plug, I guess, your stuff, your Lazy Rooster. Yeah.
So the band is called Lazy. Well, so my band is called Uncle Jesse.
Okay.
So I am Uncle Jesse. So, like, I'm the front man of the singer of the band. So but we have a group of players, and they're called the Lazy Roosters. It's a drummer, a bass player, and I'm a guitar player.
Gotcha.
So my friend Robbie has a band as well. So we're the players. The Lazy Roosters are the band, and then the singer is whatever he decides to call it. I'm not sure what he's calling it, but I'm Uncle Jesse. So So the band is Uncle Jesse. We're on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, everywhere. The album we released in 2019 is called Terrapin Creek. It's a 12-song album. So I wrote solely, probably 4 songs by myself, I think. I had some co-writers on the rest of them. Terrapin Creek is the title track of the song, and that's actually a road down by my house in Tennessee. It's Terrapin Creek Road, kind of like where I grew up. And it's kind of the, so I wrote it right after I got divorced, and it was just kind of like, it starts out like my hands are heavy and my knees are weak, because I was literally just like giving up. You know what I mean? I was like, so, but that was kind of the tone of that album, was just kind of some good country music. Got steel guitar in there. I really enjoyed making the album. We recorded it down at Damn It Boys Studios in Dixon, Tennessee, with a good friend of mine, David Ray Stevens. And Mr. Heffley, he produced it for us, and it turned out really nice. And we're actually getting ready to go back in. I'm doing my second album. It's going to be probably, working title right now is Small Town Famous.
Awesome.
That's going to be the title of the next one. So hopefully getting in July. I'm also working with some other people out of Nashville. We're going to try to get like a 3 or 4 song EP. And it's going to be all done with Nashville players. It's going to be kind of like a hands-off for me. They're going to take the songs. They're going to hire a producer, a studio, musicians from Nashville and everything. And they're going to do all the music. And I'm going to come in and put some vocals on it, and just kind of do what I want to do to it. But they're going to produce it and then release that project hopefully maybe next year.
Awesome. I can't wait, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love your music, and I can't wait to hear more.
Yeah.
So thank you for being on my podcast, sir.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
All right, welcome back, everybody. That was my friend Caleb, a good buddy of mine. Super cool dude. I will link his information in the description below. That way you can find him and his music. So that story about that guy and that hand reaching in to the darkness that Caleb was in and pulling him out, I thought about that. And if y'all need a hand out of the darkness, know that I'm here for you and that my hand is outstretched, because I love every single one of you. And you don't have to be in that darkness, and you don't have to be alone. So the next time y'all will see me on this podcast, or hear me on this podcast, I will be out west on the road again, adventuring, trying to spread some positivity into this world, because it's here lately it's been pretty negative, and there ain't no need for that. It's all positivity from here on out, yo. So yeah, that's what I got planned here in the future. I'm gonna interview some hopefully some pretty cool people out on the road. So stay tuned in. I'm gonna start getting professional with this a little bit more. Start doing it right. Start uploading pretty frequently. It's I just didn't want to give y'all a product that I wasn't happy with, or that I couldn't say that I was proud of. So from now on out, I'm gonna get real with it. So I'll see y'all soon. Stay tuned in, and I love y'all. Peace.